Hello, this is Jeanette Casella, founder and president of the International Association of Professional Life Coaches. And today we have a special presentation with business coach Jana Beeman. And I met Jana on LinkedIn, and when I found out all the wonderful um, programs and things that she offers, I decided to see if I could get her to interface with our association and offer you a special presentation because she's so good at what she does. So I think you'll really enjoy this. Let me just tell you a little bit about Jana. As a coaching skills and business coach for several international schools and organizations, as well as working with private clients, Jana brings 35 years of business experience in both local and online marketing to the training that she does. Her expertise in creating clarity, connection, community, and clients is paired with a background in public relations, marketing, social media, enrollment conversations, and other aspects, both relational and technical, of business, which allow her to coach business owners to succeed with integrity. She is Vancouver NAPW president and Vancouver Holistic Chamber of Commerce president. She's a leader and trainer with the Evolutionary Business Council, an invitation only international mastermind of thought leaders and visionaries. And she also has a background in nutrition, certified in hypnosis and yoga, EFT, meditation, and stress relief trainer. So her mission is to help clients get out of struggle and start really thriving so that they can bring their true gifts to the world. And as I pointed out in the email that went out to everyone, she also is really an expert at conversion with enrollment conversations. And so that's what she's going to be talking about today. So welcome, Jana.
Hi, I am so pleased to be here today. I can't wait to share this information with everyone who's listening today.
Great. Well, I know you have a wonderful video slideshow for us today, so go right ahead.
Okay, so let's just jump on in. So the main thing that I see, the biggest problem that I've seen as I've worked with a lot of different coaching academies as a business trainer, and because I've been a beginning coach who couldn't make it work the way my school taught me how to build my business, I've really dedicated a lot of time and resources to solving this problem so that coaches don't have to struggle with getting to yes in an enrollment conversation. My goal for today is to share the basics of the process. So the main points of how to run a call, the things you need to do and not do, how to structure your conversation, what you must really always ask, and how to help your potential clients move to a yes. And I promise you a ton of usable tips and tricks to help you really make your enrollment process so much easier and more enjoyable. Not only for you, but also for your prospects that you're speaking with. And just to be completely clear, I just want to be transparent. I can't share the whole system in an hour or so that we have together. It's something that I can talk about literally for hours, and I do. But I will absolutely promise to give you valuable, usable content that can change the face of your business with this and nothing else. Deal? So let's dive into some of the goodies. So this webinar will be great and effective for you if you are a person who is not someone who loves to sell and you'd really like to know a different way to make your business work to gain those clients that you need in order to move forward. It will be valuable for you if you know that you have valuable skills that help people and you don't have a clue on how to get them to sign up. And when you try it, you feel too pushy like a used car salesman and just really struggle to close the sale. If you feel your heart basically jump into your throat every time you hear how much, then we're going to deal with that one also today. If you avoid sometimes having those introductory conversations because you just don't know what to say, or you really honestly don't know how to do them. If you have potential clients bail on your conversations or say they can't afford it and you don't know what to do to change that energy, or if you stumble through initial conversations really just not knowing what to say and when to say it, you're tired of hearing the excuses when you know you have someone on the phone with you that needs your help and that you can help, but you don't know how to get them to see that. And it's going to be a great call for you if you want tools to help you enroll the right clients so you can let go of the ones who don't show up or really participate, so that you end up having really super successful clients. And if you're just out of your coaching training and realizing you honestly don't know how to get clients, believe me, I've been there, and we're going to be shifting that on the call today. So whether you are a coach, a healer, a visionary, a heart-centered business person, you may find that the traditional idea of sales simply really no longer works, and you might be thinking that there has to be a better way, and I promise there is. So for you coaches and practitioners, your school may or may not have offered any business coaching at all, and if they did, it's quite possible that it was just piled out there for you to sort through on your own. And from my own experience, I went to nutrition school, and the school that I went to had us do health histories. And this was back when I was training to be a health coach. And the forms that we were to have people fill out were 3 pages of really super personal information. I don't know about you, but when I go to the dentist's office or the eye doctor and I'm seeing these lists and lists of questions, I skip almost all of them. And so how could I expect someone else to fill out that personal a questionnaire for someone that they really don't even know? And for me, getting those calls set up was really hard, and getting to yes was virtually impossible. So many of us have faced these scenarios. We're really excited to have that client conversation, only to really crash down into despair when it all starts falling apart. And we're left lamely finishing off the call while we're trying desperately to hide our disappointment. For me, I was often on the verge of tears by the end of the call because I got so many no's, and it was also discouraging. And I'll share a little bit more about how bad that was in a minute. I just want you to know that it is not because you're not good enough, or you're charging too much, or you aren't passionate enough. It is because no one really teaches you how to do this part of the coaching business. And today is going to really help you change that. So, okay, so I come from a background of being painfully shy. I suffer with social anxiety, and I'm a major introvert, and I've had bouts of agoraphobia, fear of crowds or people, throughout my lifetime. Sometimes I'm able to move past it, sometimes not. Now, people laugh at me when I tell them this, but if they knew me 10 years ago, they would absolutely know this to be true. So things have shifted a bit for me, but I'm still very much like that. And if you are also like that, I just want you to really take this as a sign that you don't have to stay in that place. I graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition with a health coaching certification. I tried to build my business the way they taught me to, and I got one client who I got by referral, which I don't think even counts. So at one point I had quite a few calls set up, but I got 0 signups from it. And I think I had about 15 calls that I had gotten from an event that I had done. I got 0 signups. And over time, I did get a few clients here and there, but I really struggled to get people in. And my financial situation was not pretty. So I decided I needed some training on how to hold these calls, and I dove into learning everything I could find. I invested a ton of money in training and coaching. We're talking like $40,000 or $50,000. And now I can honestly say I have an over 90% enrollment rate using what I learned consistently. And more often than not, it's up around 95%. And I am still studying almost everything I can find. I'm constantly revising and up-leveling my approach and the trainings that I do based on that, because I'm very committed to really perfecting this art. And pretty quickly, as a result of some of that deeper training, I became what I find from others, I really have mastered the enrollment conversation. I didn't know it until I talked to people who weren't doing as well with it as I was. And now I have clients who will ask me, how do I work with you? Even before I've offered them any kind of package or program. And I just want you to think for a second how that might feel for you. And what if you could just speak from the heart and be really authentic and in integrity, and have people asking how they can work with you before you talk about price or anything else? Would that change your experience of business? Because it certainly did for me. Now, I was really surprised to have struggled so much because I've been in business all my life, and I started my first business at 12. And it wasn't like a lemonade stand. It was something that had to literally support me because I'd moved out of my house and was on my own. And this one element is the key to ending struggle in a service-based business, and finding a solution can seriously change everything. So to share a little bit more about my background, once I solved this issue for myself, I became a business coach, and I started being a coaching trainer for starting with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I've gone on to work for several other international coaching schools and academies, as well as running my own successful business coaching and training company and speaking internationally. And my level of success has changed completely when I discovered the easiest path to yes. And yay, we're going to be talking about that. So my one belief is that the most powerful way to get new clients for coaches and practitioners especially, and this does also work for product people, it just has to be angled slightly differently, it's not offering a full free session. It is it's not doing a health history. It's not doing some of the things that a lot of the schools recommend that you do. And it's not just a sales call. This is a very carefully designed call that leads your prospect down a very specific path and ends up with either setting them off on their own if they aren't a good client for you, or leading them to yes if they are. And this is not a session where you coach them for an hour and hope they see enough value to sign up with you. Honestly, that format doesn't really work most of the time unless you are super, super high-end or well-known, because when you solve or make a big dent in their most pressing problem, they're much less likely to feel that they need enough support to invest in your services. So the free session of full coaching often assures that you don't get a client, which is totally not helpful because that's not the goal, right? It's great that you can help people, but you also need to help yourself in the process, or you have no business. So what would it mean to you if you could have a plan for your strategy session and be able to stick to it, so you know what to say and when to say it? You can use your authentic voice and be able to relay what you do in a super compelling way that draws people in, and that you could really feel confident and competent in your sales conversations every time, and confidently ask for a yes because you know you can help people, and even have those clients saying yes before you get to the end of the call. If that sounds like something you'd want to experience, then we are absolutely going to be covering all of the ways to do that. Not in depth, as I mentioned, but enough to make a difference. And speaking of listening, this is going to be some intense training on this call, and we're going to move pretty fast. So I'm going to recommend you take a second right now to turn off your phone, your email notifications, stick a sign on your door, and be sure to have a pad and pen ready to go. I promise usable, powerful tips and techniques that will help you starting about an hour from now at the end of the call. So we are going to cover right now the 3 fatal enrollment conversation errors and how to avoid them, so you can serve more people who need you and make a lot more money in the process. We're going to be covering the simple 5-step process to create a client winning conversation. We'll be going over the one most important question you absolutely must ask your potential client, and how not asking it is going to cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your coaching. How to make now the perfect time for that prospect to say yes and sign up. How to weed out the people who are not a fit for you before you even waste a second of your time. And we're going to cover the one thing to never, ever, ever talk about and how it kills the deal for you when you do. I promise you, I did this one a lot in the beginning, and I was so shocked that nothing was happening. And it took me a while to figure this one out, but it is a huge game changer. Later on, I'll share ways that you can get some support around mastering this client enrollment conversation technique so you can fill your practice without the struggle. I promise I am not a pushy salesperson, and you'll see that. So just going to share the option for any of those of you who feel like you need more information. Okay, so let's start with the 3 fatal enrollment conversation errors and how to avoid them so you can serve more people who need you and make a lot more money in the process. This is a fun thing. It's incredibly easy, and it shifts so much of the energy right from the start. And I don't know why I think it's really fun to have a gun and a guy doing CPR together, but you know, I do these slideshows sometimes very late at night, and my personality comes out. Sorry about that. So key number 1 is take control of the call, and let's see if any of you can relate to this scenario. You're getting ready to have a conversation. You're going to have a free coaching call or an enrollment conversation of some kind. And you get on the phone with your prospect, you say hello, and then you sit there and listen helplessly for an hour or two while they spout everything about their problems and vent about everything going wrong in their business. And then eventually they wind down and you get off the phone kind of going, what the heck just happened? So if you've had more than a few enrollment conversations or free coaching calls and you don't lay it out for them, I bet you have experienced that. Because it does happen. So the simplest process in the world is to just greet them and then tell them quickly how the call is going to go. It positions you as the leader. It lets them relax, knowing you're taking the lead, and they really have to do is answer questions. The big thing here is that they may never have had a call or a conversation like this before, and they really honestly don't know what to expect. And they may also be a little nervous, which is why they end up just running off because they think that's what they're supposed to do. And just letting them know that you have a plan can really change all of that energy, and it only takes a few seconds. So just outline what you're going to be covering and have an outline for yourself so that you can take them through the call in a truly effective way. Now, I'm not talking about using a script. I don't feel that that is very authentic or that it resonates, but having a simple bulleted outline can make all the difference in the world. Okay, key number 2. Don't let them push you for pricing. And I see this happen all the time where money is such a big fear place and they simply want to get it out of the way. So they ask, so what kind of money are we talking about for your programs or your services or your coaching? And, that may happen in the first 5 minutes of the call even. And it's a fair question. And we don't want to waste our time if it's something we can't afford to invest in, right? But in order to really serve them at a high level, you need to know what is the right program, package, or service for them. So you can't really answer up front. So here is my approach. It sounds a little bit like this. Well, Mary, I totally understand why you're asking me about that. And I know you don't want to waste your time on a call if it's something you can't afford. But because I am highly committed to the success of any clients I work with, my commitment is to only offer you the product, the package, or the service that is the right fit to solve the problems you're currently experiencing and bring you to the results that you're looking for. And until I find out a lot more about what those are and do a little investigating around that, there's really no way for me to answer that question in an accurate way. I don't sell single sessions. I don't have an hourly rate, so to speak, but I serve my clients at a higher level by offering products and packages at various different investment levels that give a specific outcome that you may be looking for, rather than offering a stopgap measure. So to answer your question, the only way I can really quote pricing is to find out more about what's going on for you. Does that sound fair? And I will tell you that I have never had anyone say no to that. So moving on to key number 3, it is not about you. We all love to talk about ourselves. It's human nature. But if you are a service-oriented practitioner, business owner, or coach, you need to take yourself out of the equation most of the time. I'm not saying don't share a thing or two to build rapport. You absolutely need to do that. That's fine. But keep circling back to asking them questions and finding out about what is going on for them. It's not about you. It's not about showcasing your expertise. It's not about making you the expert in the room. It is about them. And it's showing that leadership by positioning them as the important person in the room. Now, you can use stories about some of your client work to showcase your experience, but always wind it back around to how you know what you know can help them. And so I use what I call the WIFM filter. What's in it for me? So let me give you a very short example. So back when I was health coaching, I specialized in migraines. And so I might tell somebody, yeah, you know, when I first started struggling with migraines, I really didn't have a clue what was going to work. The medicines the doctors gave me made me feel worse, and I was not seeing any solutions. And so I kept trying a bunch of different things, and I went into a lot of personal development skill sets because of that. And, you know, so I've been through hypnosis and EFT and NLP and Silva Life and pretty much every healing modality out there, Qigong, Tai Chi, physical processes, yoga processes. And honestly, the main benefit to me of having gone through this is not only have I cured my own migraines completely for the last 7 years, which is actually true, but I also have learned a lot of ways to help you with yours. So see, it starts out about me and I tell them a little bit about my path, but I wind the path back around to what's in it for them. So that's a great way to showcase what you're doing so that they can see the value. Okay, so let's jump in and look at the and it's a simple 5-step process to create a client winning conversation. So, step 1, adopt a winning mindset. And here you really need to come to the table from a place of authentic confidence, being the true leader that you are, and seeing the potential client as an ally or co-creator of the outcome that they want to create for themselves, and assuming that they're a perfect fit for your program. So really allowing that partnership to unfold, because remember, as a coach, and sometimes even as a healer, it's not about you fixing them. It is about helping them find their own best solutions, right? And then step number 2 is uncover the pain. I always have to get some animal pictures in there somewhere. And I promise there are none of my cat in here. That doesn't mean there aren't any cats. Okay, uncover the pain. And I'll tell you, a lot of coaches shy away from talking about the bad stuff. They don't want to talk about the pain points. They don't want to dig into it. But the fact is that unless you know what needs to be shifted, you can't know if you're the right coach to help them achieve that shift or not. And when you discover and explore the depths of what's not working, and you find out what else that's costing them to stay stuck in that place, and then you offer some high-level tips and suggestions along the way, that helps to really create some powerful synergy in your strategy session. Uncovering the pain is absolutely critical. And then step number 3, paint the vision. Here's where you get to serve your client at a really high level. And by releasing the attention on the pain point, and you're really shifting them forward into creating a strong vision of what they want instead. And I'll tell you from my experience, very few people have a strong vision. When you can't see anything but your pain, all you get is more pain. For those of you who are followers of the law of attraction, you know that what you focus on increases, right? So just by helping them to create a strong vision of what they want to be experiencing instead of the pain, you help them move forward towards that goal. You support them in building a vision of what's possible for them and really painting an exciting and emotion-filled picture of what it could be like to have what they want. What are the payoffs and other part of their lives if they achieve that? And again, along the way, you offer a few tips and suggestions. And I will just point out here that when I'm talking about tips and suggestions, I'm not talking about super deep coaching. It can be either a tiny element of coaching, or it can be some ways that they could maybe look at the situation differently, or a technique that you have seen be very useful. So we are focusing on just high level stuff that they could figure out on their own, but things that could definitely help them move forward. Okay, step 4 is confidently present your offer. And I know for a fact this is where most people go into fear. And because many of us have fear around money, we project it on our prospects that they also have fear around money. And the fact of the matter is that they may or they may not, and it is none of your business. If you have the right solution for them, and assuming that they feel like someone that you can and really want to work with, then you powerfully present your offer, leading with the results and the transformation they will achieve by working with you. And you're just presenting a possible solution without attachment to them saying yes. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, what? How do I not be attached to the yes? And it's because you are offering them an option. And instead of pushing them and saying, this was the right thing for you, we're just giving them an opportunity to explore it for themselves and see if it feels like a fit. It is way more powerful than pushy sales. So you lead with the benefits, the experience, the results, and the transformation. And then if it seems like, you know, you get a little bit of buy-in there, and if it feels like a fit, if they're saying, yeah, that sounds great, then you can talk about the logistics and all the pieces of your program or offering. And then you move into your pricing and payment plan strategically and really influentially in such a way as to really demonstrate the exponential value of what you're offering. Okay, and then step 5 is overcome the objections. And this is a place where a lot of people feel a lot of fear because they don't know what to do. But I promise this can become super easy, and it can actually become super, super fun. So when you become really good at the enrollment call or the strategy session or discovery session, whatever you want to call it, oftentimes you're able to start diffusing any objections during, even from the very beginning part of the call. So each step through the way, you're really diffusing that energy, and there won't be a whole lot of pushback by the time you get to this point in the conversation. And if your client has any hesitations, such as, I can't afford it, I'm worried I won't get results, I don't know if it's the right fit for me, I need to think about it, then it's really important to dig deeper. So just know that oftentimes objections are coming from a place of self-sabotage and fear. And if you are able to use your rockstar coaching skills to get down to the underlying issues, then you have a really fabulous opportunity to coach those potential clients to a breakthrough and allow them to step up to the next level by working with you. So it can be a great way to actually showcase your skill set. Now, if you are not rock solid on your skill set because you're just getting started, there's ways of building that as well. And I'll give you one other little quick tip here. Make a list of some of the benefits, experiences, results, and transformations people have experienced from talking with you. I'm talking friends, family, fellow coaching school students that you've done sample sessions with, people that you've worked with for money, people you've worked with for free. Just really go back and think about that and make a list, because that will help to build your confidence, and you can use that until you start having paid client stories to use to help boost you up right before an enrollment call as well. So I'm just going to quickly recap the 5 steps. So if you're taking notes, it's just 1, take control of the call. 2, uncover the pain point. Step 3 is uncover the vision. Step 4 is present your offer. Step 5 is overcome any objections. And that is basically that is the outline of how to do this call really super well. It's really simple, right? So of course there are more layers that can be added to this to make it even more effective, but just doing this much will start helping you get more yeses from the conversations you have. And but I'm going to share one more tip that will actually be very, very critical. But I'm going to tell you a very short story first. When I was teaching at IIN, I had a lot of small group of students that I was taking through the program. And one of the things that I did was I offered basically a similar training to the one that we're doing here today to my students, to just listen to and see if there was some bits and pieces they could take away from it that would help them get some clients so that they could start paying off what they had invested in their coaching school. And I had one very specific instance where we held a call like this, and it was just for my students, and a bunch of them were on the line. And one of the guys in one of my groups had 2 health histories scheduled for the next day. He shifted to an enrollment conversation strategy session approach. He followed what I shared on that hour-long call, which is the exact same content I'm sharing here. And he got 2 clients signed up paying him for coaching before he'd even graduated from his schooling. So I just want you to be really aware that what I'm sharing today, it sounds really simple, and it is, but it's also super, super effective. I have 100 stories like that from the various different students I've shared this with over the years, because I feel that coaching schools should give you some ways to actually get clients. I am rather attached to that, and I don't understand why it has gotten to be so strange about that. So it's way more effective if you add this one other tip. So what is that tip? It is the one, see, I promised there would be a cat. It is not my cat. Drum roll, please. The one most important question you absolutely have to ask your prospect, and how not asking it will cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your coaching practice or your health practice or whatever direction you're in. And so many of us who are coaches or heart-centered entrepreneurs, we don't do this well, or we don't do it at all. And it's so simple. You have to ask them to work with you. It's not rocket science. It is not, it's not complicated. And it is not up to them to say, how do I sign up? Although if you do the rest of the conversation really, really well, some will. It's your job to let them know the next step, which you can do by simply asking them if they'd like to get started. It doesn't have to be pushy. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it absolutely is effective. If you don't ask, you don't get. So start asking the question. So let's talk about how we can make now the perfect time for your client to sign up. So this is something that I know a lot of other coaches, even those who are good at the enrollment conversation, don't do. In fact, I'm in a joint venture with another coach, and I know he doesn't use this approach. And that's perfectly okay. It works great for him. This approach works fabulous for me. And it is using fast action bonuses, something that expires in a very short period of time. So, for example, you have a 48-hour window that somebody might get an extra one-on-one session, or they might get an extra VIP day, or it might be a cash discount, or it could be a 2-for-1. So there's lots of ways that you can do things using a fast action bonus. And that's something that expires in a short period of time, under 72 hours. Now, you can also use extras that can go in a few hours or are only available for a certain number of people. And that can also be powerful. Not every approach works for every person, so I always try to present a few things that you can try to see what works best for you. So another thing that we talked about sharing today is how to weed out the time wasters, those no-go clients, before you even waste a minute of your time. And this is also super simple, not rocket science. Have them fill out a questionnaire. Offer free consults to a few people who will be selected from those who respond. Give a helpful free report or an audio or some other gift to those who aren't a fit for you, because not everyone will be. And I'm going to share in a minute the one thing to never talk about on these calls, and how when you do it, it will ensure that you absolutely don't get a yes. And we're going to get there in just a minute. But before we get to that, I do want to share a way that any of you who would like to get really good at this type of enrollment strategy can do just that. And I'm just going to share with you, because you're connected with Jeanette and the Life Coaches group, I'm doing something really special for those just within this community. And I'm not going to do a 30-minute pitch. This is not pushing. This is not anything. This is just giving you an option. You know if you need it or if you don't, and I am not attached to either one. So I'll just share what I'm offering and how you can get it. And I'll invite everyone to stay on to the end, though, because the last tip is a biggie. It's something, again, super simple, but it tripped me up for ages until I figured it out. And it's not something I hear people really talking about. So hang out if you can, okay? If you have to go, if you can't stay on for the whole call, at least get the recording and come back for the last couple of minutes and listen to that, because it's important. So for those of you who know you need some support in getting better with getting clients, and you're ready to go much deeper and master the art of the enrollment conversation, strategy session, or discovery session, so that you can fill your practice without the struggle, here's what I am offering for you today. I do a 5-session live training where you will learn how to hold flawless enrollment conversations that really serve your prospect at the highest possible level, even if they say no, by having a really deep and meaningful conversation that serves them without the sleazy selling techniques, manipulation, or anything that's out of integrity for you. And you're going to know how to make those introductory conversations really simple, and know that you're adding value to their life even if they don't sign up. And we'll help you master techniques to use when they say, I can't afford it, so that by not accepting the no, you actually are serving them at a much higher level right from the start. And you can finally learn how to get clients asking you how to sign up before you're even done with the conversation. And that, to me, was a game changer. So what you will learn exactly includes a few things like what to say and when to say it, how to take that prospect deeper right on the call, what no really means, and how to get to that meaning so that you can diffuse it. Because oftentimes when they're saying no to you, what they're really saying no to is something entirely different. really getting clear on what you need to present when and exactly how to do it in a compelling way that makes yes like the easiest possible answer. How to get them to that yes before you even ask, so that you'd have to ask less often and it's easier for everyone. And how to get them to sign up right away, right then on the call, and how to plan for when they don't, and how to have those conversations give you more conversations by referral, which really makes it easy to get clients because referrals are usually 80% easier to sign up. And then really getting clear on exactly how to serve that prospect the best, and especially when they become your client, because you've already gotten them to tell you. And so basically my goal is that you never have to have another conversation that falters, that wallows in circles, that the client runs off with, and that you never have to experience ending up on the phone way too long with nothing to show for it, or having to bail when it comes time to tell them the price because the fear is just too big. So we're going to dive into all of that. So we're going to be talking about mindset around the sales conversation and how to shift it from iffy to irresistible. And I will tell you that even though sometimes I refer to it as a sales conversation, it's really not about sales. It just gets you sales. It's not about selling, just to be really clear on that. We're going to talk about the step-by-step process to engage that potential client from hello to yes really easily, effortlessly, and without ever feeling out of integrity, and using the pieces of you that make you unique and make you powerful as the coach or the practitioner that you are, and how to avoid the mistakes other practitioners make so you can close the deal almost every single time. And I know from experience, I've offered this class many, many times. The average practitioner after this training is getting at least an 80% enrollment rate. That means that 8 out of 10 people are saying yes to a program. And that is epic, because the average practitioner, even some of the ones that are 6 and 7 figure earners, sometimes their conversion rate is 20 or 30 or 40%. And most of the coaches out there, I haven't heard many people who are over 70. So being able to get up to the 80% mark or beyond, huge deal. We're going to talk about how to use exactly what you hear to make that yes happen faster and easier, how to handle the objections with ease in such a way that your client really gets a deep benefit from it and can see that. And we're going to talk about many ways to get more clients from your one conversation without feeling pushy or obnoxious. Again, knowing what to say and when to say it and get the yes without selling your soul. So you're going to be getting 5 live teleclasses, going deep into all those topics and more: mindset, crafting your call, taking control, what to say, what not to say, overcoming objections, how to sell without selling so that they're already saying yes, how to empower your client to take fast action, getting referrals, and how to get those conversations in the first place, which is one of the pieces I don't see a lot of people talking about a lot of the time. You get an open line coaching call per week to help you personalize it, practice it, and answer questions. So the open line coaching is, we have a scheduled hour. Whoever comes on the call gets one-on-one coaching in the group setting, so we hear each other being coached, and it is really helpful because sometimes other people will ask a question that you needed to ask but you didn't think of it, and so you get more answers than you even have to ask questions, which is kind of cool. You get recordings of all the calls so you can go back to them over and over again and get all the little juicy details out. You get worksheets to help you craft your ideal conversation. You get templates, and I'm going to call them scripts, but they're really more like outlines, to help you fine-tune your message. I don't really believe in scripting, but sometimes starting with a script so that you can start working with it and then kind of stepping it down works really well. You get a lot of Q&A time on every call to be sure your practice benefits from the training. You get email access to me throughout our program to answer all your questions. And we do a private Facebook group so you can support each other. You can pair up to practice. And it gives just a lot of community around the whole conversation. And for the first 5 people, remember I talked about the limited time bonus or the limited quantity bonus? Here we go. This is a limited quantity bonus. For the first 5 people who sign up in the next 48 hours, I'm including a free individual one-on-one hour-long call with me to talk about your business and how to best present it, how to overcome objections that are unique to your business, or any other business questions you may have. If you need some strategy, if you need some brainstorming, wherever you need to go. And this is a call that I normally charge almost $400 for. You can use this time before, during, or after the training sessions, depending on your goals, to ensure your business success. I normally offer this training for about $797 outside of my coaching schools where I do discount it. So normal price is $797, and with all the time with me, it's definitely worth that much. But because you're on the call today, I'm offering the full program at a very special investment for a very limited time. If you are able to get to yes by this Friday, November 15th, I invite you to do this training for just $297. So that's less than half of the regular price. And remember, the first 5 people get the one-on-one bonus session with me as well. You can choose to make 2 payments of $157, or even stretch it out as long as you need to using the PayPal credit option, which allows you to make payments as small as maybe $25 a month. So after the 15th, the price is going up to $397, and it may go up again after that. So if this feels like a solution that you've been looking for to help you get a lot more clients faster and easier, then you can go to createyourdreampractice.com/EE program, Effortless Enrollments, but I did it the short way because that's a lot to type. And go ahead and sign up right now. I promise I will give you the best, clear and concise enrollment conversation training out there, and it will work for you. And I know if someone as shy and awkward as I have been in my life can do this, then you can absolutely do it too. And in fact, if you take the course and you apply each step and you fully engage in the training and you don't find it's worth the investment, I'll happily give you a refund or coach you to achieve the results you wanted for free until you do. I'll take all the risk on this so you can step forward in a really confident way. This training only has value if it helps you succeed, and I'm committed to helping that make that actually happen for you. So that is my promise. So that is all I have to do on the sales side. So now we're going to jump back into the one thing that you need to never do, and during an enrollment conversation, or even when you're networking. And I talk about networking a lot in the program because I'm a very avid networker. And this is the thing that slayed me when I first got started because I didn't get it. So it is all about process. And I will tell you, when you talk about process, and by process I mean modalities, structures, systems, things that people don't understand. I have a few examples up there on the screen of things that people may or may not understand, right? So let's say you're a health coach and you specialize in weight loss. And so you jump into a conversation talking about how they're going to have to give up a lot of foods, they're going to change their routine, they're going to have to go to bed by 9 p.m., they're going to have to stop drinking, they're going to have to start working out an hour a day. They're going to go, holy crap, I don't want that. So what if instead you could showcase how they can lose weight by determining what in the routine right now isn't working in their favor, and start making some small and painless shifts without any deprivation, and then look how to up level their self-care while saving enough time out of the day to make that easy, and then focus on adding some fun fitness in the form of quick games and challenges that they'll actually look forward to doing in their week, and how to make it really fun. And to top it off with a celebration when they meet their goal, feel great, and can fit back into those jeans in the back of their closet. So yes, you know they have to shift their food and exercise, but people invest in what they want, not what they need. So if you sell them what they want, you can sneak the other stuff in the back door. So say you're a life coach who works with depression, which sounds better to you. Yeah, we're going to look at all the pain, all the dark moments of your life. We're going to dive into the trauma, and we're really going to figure out what's triggering the depression. Or we're going to focus on simple steps to empower you and help you gain confidence, and find some ways to dissolve the old stress, thoughts, and patterns so you can step forward into the world with a fresh new outlook and enthusiasm, recapturing your zest for life once and for all. Which one would you buy? Just think about that for a second, because we all tend to talk about, I'm a harmony integration practitioner, I'm a holistic health practitioner, I'm a this, I'm a that, and for me, I have like 25 certifications and different processes I use, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. They want to know what's in it for me. So go back to the WIFM filter. What's in it for me? So that really concludes what I have to share with you on the call today, and I'd like to open for questions.
Well, thank you so much, Jana. That was quite a lot of information, and at the same time, you made it seem so simple and easy.
Well, and it really can be. It really can be that easy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times that really is part of the problem, is that we just make these conversations too hard.
Yes.
I know I do that.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can have a really heart-centered conversation with somebody that's fun and it's connecting, and you feel like you're just really getting to know this person, and you can offer them a solution that they can choose to take or not take, and it's all good. And when you just have a little bit of a structure to the conversation, and you lead them down a very specific path, the yes is so easy if they are a fit, and if you are a fit for them. And when you're really good at starting to notice how to analyze that, am I a fit? Are they a fit? And to be clear about that before you even make the offer. If there's a no in there somewhere, you don't even offer them anything. You just say, I really feel like we're not a fit to work together at this time, but I'd like to offer you some resources that'll give you some support so that you can move forward. How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I also think that you're making a really great offer here. $297 is a very generous price, Jana. Thank you for that. And she's offering that to our members for this who listen to this call. And the thing is, I've taken like 3 or 4 classes in the past on just the enrollment conversation. Mm-hmm. With a lot of big name coaches and some little name coaches, and spending all this money on it, and still the conversion rate is rather,
sad.
And so to have someone who consistently not only gets 95% conversion rate herself, but that her students can up their conversion rate to around 80% is phenomenal. And that's why I was so excited when I found Jana and said, oh, you have to offer this to my membership.
Well,
So,
definitely delighted to do that because life coaches struggle probably more than almost any other group except maybe health coaches. It's just this horrible black hole of lack of support. And I have declared war on confusion and roadblocks. So that's part of why I love doing this training so much.
yeah, and I think that the other thing too is that almost every coach, especially the new coaches that I talk to, when I ask them, well, what is your number one obstacle? They say, I can't get clients, or I don't know how to get clients. And
Mm-hmm.
the conversation is the kingpin here, because
Mm-hmm.
everything centers on the conversation that you're going to have. There's a lot of different ways to be taught how to find prospects, how to get leads, lead generation, big topic. But once you get those leads, if you don't know what to do with them, it doesn't help.
True. And when you get the leads and you kind of sit there going, yay, I have a lead, and then you're going, holy crap, now what do I do with it? It's so demoralizing. And if you lack confidence as a coach, because maybe you're just getting going and you haven't done that much, and you're not sure how to quantify what you're doing in a way that people can really resonate with, then that's also a problem. And we deal with that in the training as well, because confidence is key. So we start with the confidence piece, and then we work with the connection piece, and then we go into the conversation piece, and we end up with the clients. So it's just this lovely little path that is filled with flowers and beautiful scenery. It is not hard. It is simple. It is not brain numbing. And I'll just share that when I learned this technique from my first coach on it, who was actually good, I absolutely loved her training. And so I took it over a very short period of time. I spent a little bit of time just kind of rewriting the outline to work for me. And again, not scripting it, but just coming up with some of the things I wanted to make sure I touched on. And then I got a couple of coaching calls set up. And the first one signed up for a package. And the second one happened to be live because she'd seen a newspaper article interview with me, and she contacted me, and she was local, and she wanted to meet for coffee. And so I couldn't really be reading off my outline while we were face to face. So while the conversation took a little bit longer, I walked away with a check. And so for a long time, I had a 100%